Hey guys, I am so excited to be with you today with a beautiful married couple that has inspired me since the moment we met, mainly because they're together all the time. And honestly, I wish my hubby was with me all the time. I just saw a live Instagram video of two people and they're married and they're in their car and they're like, we do this always, all together, all the time. And I sent it to my husband literally just last week and I was like, when do we get to do this? And he's like, it's coming, it's coming. So I just honor you guys. I am a little jelly, but not coveting. I'm just telling you that more people need to do what you guys do. And I'm excited to share the story behind that because it's not just about being married entrepreneurs. It's also about the fact that they're business coaches, and doing it through this power couple design, I think is so incredible and so kingdom. And so I'm excited to get into your all stories. I had the joy of being on your podcast recently, and I'll make sure I share those in the links below when they come live. But Thriving in Tandem is their podcast. And so welcome to the Messenger Movement podcast today, Robert and Kaylee Fukui.
Thank you so much for having us, Tamra. We're so excited. Happy to be here.
And it's great that we got to meet each other in person a couple of weeks ago. And so we've had a lot of Tamra time. So it's great to get to know you. And this is going to be a lot more fun than normal because, we've got a relationship.
It's so true. It's so true. We were at the U.S. Christian Chamber of Commerce. Crystal Parker got us in connection. And then for us to be together, it was so cool. We actually stumbled upon each other in a Zoom room through Crystal. We're like, hey, we kind of know each other somehow, some way. So this is all of that coming to fruition. But it really is about kingdom collaboration. And you guys are doing it on a whole nother level. So I want to get right into that story. What was the evolution of you guys deciding we're going to do this thing, like not just marriage, because that obviously happened when you got married, but not just marriage, but life and business together?
That is an evolution. That's a story. So, basically it started from childhood. Obviously, it's not that we knew each other as children, but, our dynamic, my dad was a pastor and her dad was an entrepreneur, but we both kind of grew up in a household that the ministry or the business was front and center. And then a lot of times the family took a back seat. That's basically what got left over. And so through that process and just growing up, the way a lot of us are growing up is about achievements. It's not so much about relationships. And so you're just going, with its grades in school or in your career and in business. And so what happened was, just as I was transitioning from my corporate job about 8 years ago to doing consulting full time, I was working full time, but then I was doing the consulting and I was working till like 2 a.m. And so, got to a point where I finally was sitting at my desk right here, actually at like almost 2 a.m. and I'm exhausted. And I'm realizing, even though I'm not working on the weekends, but I'm so exhausted mentally, emotionally, and physically, I'm just not really present with Kaylee. Yeah. And so, and she said early on, like, I know this is just a season until you switch. But even in that moment, I was like, I don't think this is God's best, that even in a transition moment or period or season, that I'm not good enough to be with my wife and for other people with kids, right? I don't think that's God's best. But we bought into this lie that we have to sacrifice our personal life to achieve over here. And I said, this isn't God's best. And I called him out. I said, Lord, if you really want me to do this, how do I do this better? Right? I know I'm going to have to still work in the evenings after my full-time job, but how can I at least get to bed by 11?
Yeah.
Right. So that was my first
sleep. So we're like each other.
So think about it. That's 3 hours a night. That's 15 hours in a 5-day work week. So that's 2 nights of extra sleep.
That's a lot.
Wow. That's
right?
Good. Yeah. Simple math.
So just getting to bed by 11 just really forced me to really evaluate what I was doing and what was just keeping me busy versus what was really productive.
Good.
And then we found out in our consulting business, the couples that were, most entrepreneurs are married, even if they're not working together, but they're married and they have this business and they're so focused on the business that their marriage and family is taking a back seat. So this is like a recurring theme that we're seeing, not just in our childhood, but even with other entrepreneurs. And that's when I asked Kaylee, I said, I think there's something going on here that's almost like an epidemic that nobody's really dealing with.
It's good.
We're just accepting it as normal and nobody's really dealing with, but it wasn't to my own aha moment, like, mate, this is crazy. What am I doing?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the short story of how we kind of got to this point.